Good evening and thank you so much for joining us here for Friends at 5 on air and also over on WLTX Plus. I'm Erica Glover. We're beginning with continuing coverage, including live looks inside the courtroom for day 2 of the Rick Chow murder trial. Rick Chow is charged for the murder of 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack-Belton. Investigators say back in 2023, Chow chased the teenager after suspecting him of shoplifting bottled water. Well, investigators say it was later determined the teenager did not. Investigators also say Chow fired a shot into the 14-year-old's back, killing him. Kiki Gushu, though, has been spending the entire day inside of that courtroom, and she is joining us right now with an update.
We are now on the afternoon break here at the Richland County Courthouse after a long day of testimony in the murder trial of the state of South Carolina versus Rick Chow. Today, jurors have heard from 7 witnesses so far, including multiple people who described the moments leading up to the shooting of 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack-Belton. Earlier today, one of the witnesses told jurors she saw Cyrus running before he fell to the ground, while another described watching him stumble, lose a shoe, and try to get back up, with Rick Chow just feet behind him. This afternoon, the state shifted focus to forensics and surveillance video. A firearms expert testified the bullet recovered matched a Glock 45 that belonged to Chow, and said laser attachments on guns can be common and easy and accessible to buy online. Jurors also watched surveillance video from inside that Shell station, including video of Cyrus walking through the store, taking out water bottles and putting them back before the shooting. The state's big focus this afternoon appeared to be showing jurors that Rick Chow knew how to use the store's surveillance video systems and could have used those cameras to help identify Cyrus and report him to police instead of chasing him. There was also emotional testimony and moments inside the courtroom today, with family members visibly upset at some of the video and autopsy testimony. Court is expected to resume around 3:45 this afternoon, and prosecutors say they expect to finish presenting their case today. I'll have much more from inside the courtroom later on.
All right, Kiki, thank you so much. And today we also heard witness testimony, prosecutors and defense calling Devontae Bryant, a man who was driving by the gas station and happened to see Rick Chow and his son chasing Cyrus, they say, across the street. He explained what he recalls seeing in those moments. Have a listen.
Tell us what you observed about him falling.
Okay, so when he fell after he got across the street.
Okay.
It was something over there that it looked like he had to trip up over or something.
You saw him trip?
Yeah.
Okay. And were Rick Chow and Andy Chow in front of him when he tripped, or were they still behind him?
Behind him, but they was real close up on him when he tripped.
Okay. So when he tripped, how would you describe the fall?
He fell hard. The first fall was real hard.
Okay. Did he try to get back up, or did he get back up?
Yeah, he tried to get back up, but it was more so of a stumble versus him standing straight up.
Okay. Did you see the book bag again after he got up?
No, it was on the ground.
Okay. All right. Did you see anything in his hand at this point?
No.
All right. Was he able to get back up on his feet?
Yeah.
Okay. Then what happened?
It's like he stood up almost all the way up completely. He maybe took a step, if that, and that's when he shot.
Okay. And then what happened?
Like Cyrus fell. Once he fell, he was trying to like roll himself over, but I don't know if he could or not. But he was like putting his hands up as he was trying to roll himself over.
Okay.
But you could tell he was still out of breath. Like he was still breathing real hard.
Okay.
Do you remember, let's make it very simple. Do you remember at some point in time telling an officer, anybody, that Cyrus was on the ground when he got shot?
Yeah.
That's a yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not a confusion, that's not a trick question, that's a yes.
Yeah.
Today, you're saying that's different, correct?
Yeah.
You have met with law enforcement, solicitors, everybody in between those 2 times, yes?
Yeah.
And we realize the first thing that you said about shot on the ground is not possible.
No.
And earlier today, News 19's Christy Calcagno sat down with defense attorney Lacey Thompson for an in-depth conversation. She spoke about eyewitness testimony and your memory now versus your memory several years ago.
When you first talk to police or somebody about your day, right? That day, you remember it way better than you're going to remember 3 years from now. And that's why we request as defense attorneys incident reports. That's why prosecutors want incident reports, body cams. We want everything because your memory is best from that day for all of us. It's hard to remember specific details on down the road. And I've always been curious because I've seen this happen before where they do change their testimony. Well, are they being untruthful? Are they lying for whatever reason? Or do they just not remember? And did they look at did the state show them their prior statement to the police and say, is that actually what you remember it to be? Sometimes you need that to refresh your memory. And so I wonder sometimes if the state preps their witnesses and reminds them of what they told the police, because we have an incident here where I believe he testified that Cyrus stood up, and that is when he was shot and was not on the ground. And the defense pointed out, I believe that 3 years ago, his statement was that he was shot when on the ground.
And of course, News 19 will continue tracking this entire trial with extensive coverage. Download our free News 19 app right now by simply scanning the QR code right here on your screen. That way you can watch anytime and anywhere.